All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. How are you guys? How's everybody? I hope everyone's pretty warm because I think it has been raining really hard in Manila. So if you're in Manila, please take good care of yourself and don't get yourself drowning in flood because I think some of the areas in Manila is now underwater. Tama ba yung Tagalog? Ay, yung English ko. Underwater talaga, parang naging under the sea. So parang Little Mermaid ganon. Anyway, so welcome back to my channel, and if you're new in my channel, please feel free to send me your highs and hellos, post them on the comment section below, and join the conversation. Tonight our topic is all about super achievers because yesterday or last night we talked about ano nga ba yung last night? Nakalimutan ko tuloy bigla. Okay, because last night it was all about, yeah, average pala. Oh, yun. Last night we talked about average. So tonight we're going to be talking about the achievers. Okay, so again, please say your highs and lows. I really appreciate your comments, your your highs and lows ulit. I really appreciate your interaction because this is a live stream, and um that's one of the best parts of having a live stream because you can directly interact with the person who's talking. So come and join the conversation tonight. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ay, thank you po sa reminder. Nahilo na ako. Okay, so again, our topic for tonight, kung kagabi is average, we are gonna be talking about achievers naman this time. So, what is the point of talking about the super achievers? Well, there is so many people out there who are frustrated with what's going on with their lives. They feel stuck. They feel that they're not really achieving anything, especially amidst the pandemic. So, if you know anyone who will be able to relate to this or who need to hear this, to hear about this live stream, please share this video to that person. We never know, baka matulungan natin siya. And again, welcome everyone. I'm Irene. I'm a real estate broker in the Philippines. I'm also a motivational speaker and I'm also a writer. I do a lot of things in between. And to get to know me more, you can hang out with me every single night. We have a live stream every 8 p.m. from Mondays to Saturdays. Every night, iba-iba po yung theme natin. We have different themes every night, and tonight is all about Thinking Tuesdays. And our topic for tonight is all about the downside of being a super achiever. And before I start, let me just say hi to Sir Sanglay. Good evening po. Thank you so much for watching. Ayan. Okay, let me just share my screen because we will definitely... okay, hindi ako masyadong prepared. Syempre may PowerPoint ulit ako. Okay, so again, our topic for tonight is the downside of being a super achiever. If you know anyone who will be able to relate to this live stream, please invite them now. And just in case you don't have anyone yet in mind, you can remember this video and share it to them just in case you encounter someone who believes they are not achieving anything at this point in time, despite their honors when they were still in college or when they were still in school, or maybe they are having a hard time coping up with the pandemic and they feel like they have been failing themselves. So this one is definitely a video that they can definitely relate to. All right, so let's start with our discussion for tonight. Again, we will be starting with a definition. As you know, it's really important to define things before we actually talk about them so we will not be derailed with the discussion. Okay, so my cursor is really... Yan. My cursor is really makulit. Okay, so what is a super achiever? And again, we have to define words in this session before we start because it's easier to get lost. No, it's really easy to get lost when we don't define terms. So define natin. What is a super achiever? According to Merriam-Webster, it's a person who achieves much more than is normally expected or required. So last night we talked about average. Ngayon naman, ito naman yung mga super kung makapag-achieve, no? Super dami nilang achievement sa buhay nila. So again, it's a person who achieves much more than is normally expected or required. So they are the people who are, who tend to be so obsessed with achievements. Yan. Kasi nasanay silang ganon, or maybe their parents raised them like that, or maybe their families like that, or maybe yung kinalakihan nilang society, maybe the society that they grew up in believes in achievement, and everybody else in the family, for example, is an achiever. So it's really easy to assimilate all these characteristics, right? Mabilis mahawa. Okay, sabi nga natin kung sino yung lagi mong kasama, yun yung mabilis makahawa sa iyo. So if you are a super achiever, well, again, later on I will say this again, but let me tell you this: if you're a super achiever, you have to stick to this conversation, and please post your comment if you can relate to this, or if you have any experience that you can share with us through this conversation. Okay, so ano yung mga downside ng pagiging super achiever? Okay, marami akong kilala, sobrang dami kong kilala. I will not categorize myself as someone who's a super achiever, because I know so many people who are really super achiever, like OA sila mag-achieve ng mga bagay-bagay. Like, whatever they touch, it turns into gold, parang ganun. We know so many people like that. And of course, hindi laging masaya ang pagiging super achiever. So, we will start talking about the downside, because that's the main topic of this conversation. So, what's the downside of being a super achiever? Di ba dapat masaya ka pag super achiever ka? But let me show you some of the downsides of being a super achiever. Hi, Ren! Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. So, it's been a week, no, Ren? Ang bilis ng pangyayari. Parang last week pa lang nag-uusap-usap pa lang tayo. Okay. Bilis ng time. Anyway, so the downsides of being a super achiever, the first one is, of course, obviously, when you're a super achiever, people got used to you being a super achiever. So there's really less room for errors. Parang nakakatakot magkamali kasi people are already expecting that you will always do the right thing, or maybe that you will achieve all the time. So, nakakatakot magkamali. Okay? Hello, Sir Castillo. Good evening po. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Next is the constant fear of being judged, lalo na sa Pilipinas. Parang lahat yata ng tao judgmental. No, that's not only in the Philippines. Actually, across the globe, by nature, humans are really judgmental. Okay? So if you're a super achiever, tapos parang hindi mo na-achieve, let's say, there's something that you did not achieve at a particular time, natatakot kang i-judge ka ng mga tao sa paligid mo. And that's a pretty normal fear. Another thing is the constant fear of failure. So kung takot kang magkamali, mas takot ka na mag-fail. Ano ba yung mag-fail sa Tagalog? I think I need the Tagalog word for that. So, failure, of course, it's the opposite of success. Kung hindi ka mag-succeed sa mga ginagawa mo, parang mas nakakatakot pag super achiever ka. For example, in college, graduate ka magna cum laude. Tapos, let's say, ano ba yung mga course na may board? Let's say, nursing graduate ka. Tapos, graduate ka magna cum laude. So, everyone expects you to pass the board exam for nursing, paano kung bumagsak ka? So, yun yung mga fears ng isang super achiever. Takot na takot talaga sila na mag-fail. Kasi nga, nasanay sila na lagi nilang na-achieve yung mga gusto nila. And again, there are several instances where we cannot, again, we cannot control the results. I've mentioned that last night. I will say it again tonight. You cannot control the results. You can only control your actions, your efforts, your feelings toward it. But you can never control the results. And so if you're a super achiever, you kind of feel like there's that constant fear of failure na baka bumagsak ka or whatever, di ba? Okay, so thank you, Ren. Thank you. Okay, thank you for the validation. Next is another downside of being a super achiever is you associate yourself with your achievements. And just like last night, I talked about being average, na ina-associate natin yung sarili natin sa achievements natin. Dito din, kapag super achiever, ganun din. Ina-associate natin yung worth natin. We associate our personal self-worth, okay, our self-worth with being a super achiever. Okay? So, yun yung problema. Yun yung nagiging downside. Kasi madalas, ina-associate na natin yung sarili natin sa achievements natin. Which is, as I've mentioned last night, I will say it again tonight, You are not your achievement. So, sabi nga 'di ba dun sa isang song, do not congratulate yourself too much. Do not berate yourself either. Kasi you are not your achievements. Whether nag-succeed ka or nag-fail ka, you shouldn't tie yourself up with that. Okay? So, ang nangyayari kapagka ina-associate natin yung sarili natin with our achievements tapos hindi tayo nag-achieve, we feel so bad about ourselves. Okay, that's really the effect of doing that. Hello po, Ma'am Nita. Thank you so much po. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Next is over analytical tendencies. So super achievers also do that. Not only for, for people like us. I mean, people like me, for example. I wouldn't categorize myself as a super achiever. May tendency na nga ako. I mean, ito yung hindi naman ako super achiever, pero meron na akong tendency mag-overanalyze ng mga bagay-bagay. How much more kapag super achiever ka, you tend to think more than a regular person would. So, yun yung downside ng pagiging super achiever. Masyado mong iniisip lahat ng bagay. Okay? Next is, you have almost impossible to achieve standards. Okay. Because you're a super achiever, you always aim high, right? And one of the pitfalls of being a super achiever is when you always stick to almost impossible standards, tapos hindi mo siya na-achieve, yun yung nagiging problema. You feel bad about yourself, or maybe naiisip mo na parang you're not good enough, ganyan. So yun yung mga nagiging constant problems ng isang super achiever. And of course, constant frustration. Kasi nga, sobrang taas ng standards na tinatry nating ma-achieve, no, as super achievers. So, mas mahirap mag-keep up. Kagaya nga ng sabi ni Ma'am Nita dito, di ba? Yan, expectations versus reality. Sometimes our expectations are way above what we can achieve. And so, it really breaks our hearts whenever we don't achieve them. Kaya talagang mahirap, no? Napakahirap maging isang super achiever. Okay? But again, listen to this conversation, because I'm not saying that it's good or bad. Okay? I'm just saying that there are two sides of the story for whatever we choose to become. Okay? So last night average, ngayon naman super achiever. So, kung ito naman, we started with the downside of being a super achiever. Kasi I know so many people who are super achievers, and itong lahat ng mga sinabi ko and so much more, yung mga hindi natin nabanggit tonight, marami pa silang pinagdadaanan na hindi natin kailanman maiintindihan kasi, well, unless you walk in their shoes, that's the time that you really understand a person, right? So, again, from those who are not super achievers and who can see super achievers, let's not be judgmental. And also, let's become supportive about what they want to do in their lives, diba? Ganun naman, if you want to succeed, um, encourage other people to succeed as well. That's how it works. Okay? So, pag-usapan naman natin yung advantages. Okay. Pag-usapan natin yung advantages ng isang super achiever. Of course, my page is all about inspiring and cheering and empowering people. So I want to highlight the advantages of being a super achiever than talking about than emphasizing um the downside of being a super achiever. Marami talagang downside. Pero let's put it this way. How about the advantages of being a super achiever? What can we learn from super achievers? Number one, they have very strong self-discipline. Siyempre, kasi mataas yung standards na sinusunod nila, mataas din yung self-discipline nila. And again, I'm not saying that this is a general statement like all of them are, but most of the people that we know who are super achievers, they have a very strong self-discipline. Let's say, if you know anyone who's, let's say, a player, no, yung mga nagiging yung nagko-compete sa sports. Let's say, yung mga competitive players, right? These people, they have very strong self-discipline. Hindi sila pwedeng kumain basta-basta ng makakadagdag sa weight nila, for example, or hindi sila maglalakwatsa or magpupuyat a day before the game. They have very strong self-discipline, which I really admire. Kasi yun yung isa sa mga sobrang distinct quality ng isang super achiever na nakikita ko na magandang i-emulate. We have to emulate all these things from a super achiever, or even if hindi lahat. Puwedeng yung paisa-isa, 'di ba? Good evening, Miss Cherry. Thank you so much. All right. A message from Miss Nita. From ma'am. Ma'am, sometimes our performance is affected by some factors. So even if we are super achievers, if we are not motivated in our workplace and or we are not being recognized by our superiors, our work performance goes down. Oh, that's so true. That's so, so true. Thank you, Ma'am Nita. That's so true. Yan. Kaya dapat talaga, people, you have a very strong support system as well. 'Di ba? Dapat yung mga nasa paligid natin, supportive din sila sa atin. Kasi again, maraming tao yung mga ipu-put down ka. Kasi minsan may mga taong maiinggit sa'yo. Dapat pala kasama yun sa downside ng super achiever. May mga taong maiinggit sa'yo. So, let down ka nila or ipu-put down ka nila kasi nakikita nilang sobrang sobrang achiever ka. Parang since they can't beat you, they will try to ruin you, OMG. The crab mentality of it all. Pero it's how it works. I mean, not all the time, but it's life. You will never be able to control people's feelings. But I totally agree. You really have to have people who they can only achieve. They can only achieve if they are motivated internally, okay, and externally as well. So yun. So going back, strong self-discipline. Isa to sa mga this is one of the characteristics that we can, okay, that we need to emulate, or that we can emulate, because having self-discipline talaga is one of the keys to success. Ayan. Ma'am Nita, thank you so much. Thank you po sa validation. Yes, ma'am. Very big check. Okay, so again, so strong self-discipline. Next is, oops, a strong sense of direction. I mean, I have never ever encountered a super achiever who does not know where he or she is going. 'Di ba? Yung mga tao, like when I was in high school, I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this last night as well. And in previous episodes, I when I was in high school, I went to state university, and competition is really 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 tough. It's sobrang hirap. I mean, I cannot imagine how I went through high school, but it was really tough, okay? And considering na parang ano bang I don't know, I lack a better word, but sige, dun na lang tayo sa mga super achievers. Wag na yung story ko. Based na lang sa nakikita ko sa ibang tao, okay? So that I wouldn't also be incriminating myself. Okay. Dun sa mga nakikita ko sa paligid ko, lahat talaga sila, karamihan, like 80% of the people in high school, in my high school that time, or during my time, sobrang ano sila, super achievers talaga sila. Like whatever they touch, feeling ko they turn that thing turns into gold. And one of the things that I really admire about them is their strong sense of direction. They know what they want, they know what they need to do, and they know what they cannot do, because they have these goals and stuff. So talagang nakaka-inspire. If you see someone, especially hindi lang someone, no, when I was in high school, most of the people that I know are super achievers. So talagang nakakahawa, alam na alam mo kung ano yung dapat mong gawin, sa hindi mo dapat gawin. Even sa workplace din. I've seen so many super achievers in the workplace. Super, super dami. Na talagang sobrang ano sila, sobrang alam nila what they want and what they need to do. So masaya 'yun. Isa 'yun sa mga dapat nating matutunan from super achievers na sana i-apply din natin sa sarili natin. Okay. Next is, oops. Okay, another advantage of being a super achiever is opportunities find their way to you. Sobrang saya yun siguro, no? I remember applying for a school. Okay, I will not mention the name of the school, but graduates of that school, okay, graduates of the school, kasi I was supposed to take my master's in that school. It's quite famous in the entire Asia, no? If you're a graduate of the school, sabi nila, you are one of the best students in Asia, and people and companies actually find you, not the other way around. Hindi ka na maghahanap ng work kasi companies flock to that school and take the students. I mean, take the graduates. Hindi pa sila graduate from that particular school, meron na agad silang mga job offers kasi alam nila that that's one of the best schools in Asia. So parang sabi ko, wow, ganun pala pag super achiever. 'Di ba? Yung mga super achiever, talagang sobrang opportunities find their way to you. Kaya somehow, no, somehow it's not really so bad it's not bad at all actually to be a super achiever. Kasi especially if you're in school and you really want to have a really good job maybe, or a really good business later on, you really want to you really want opportunities to find you instead of the other way around. That's one of the goals, right? I mean, you go to school because you don't only improve your mind, but you also improve, or I mean, you also heighten the possibility of opportunities finding their way to you. So it's really cool. That's one of the perks of being a super achiever. Another thing is the sense of fulfillment and pride. Of course, if you're a super achiever, people tend to, 'di ba? People tend to I mean, if you are a super achiever, you tend to be proud about yourself. Not naman on a negative way, but it can be na parang proud ka kasi na-achieve mo yung mga gusto mo ma-achieve. Especially matataas kasi yung standards ng mga super achiever. So once they achieve those expectations or even surpass their own expectations, nakaka-proud naman talaga yun, 'di ba? I mean, wala pa akong nakilalang tao na na-achieve niya yung mga gusto niya gawin sa buhay niya tapos hindi siya na-proud. Siyempre somehow merong ano 'yan, merong konting kilig sa puso kapagka na-achieve mo yung mga bagay-bagay na gusto mo ma-achieve. There's a sense of fulfillment, in achieving the things that you want to achieve. And that's something that super achievers have most of the time because they achieve what they want, right? Okay, I will not say na all the time kasi nga mataas yung standards nila. Minsan kahit na-achieve na nila, ano pa rin, parang feeling nila kulang pa rin kasi nga super achievers sila. Okay. Next is maximizing potentials. So if you're a super achiever, you tend to check all of your strengths. You tend to focus more on your strengths, and you also check on your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Which is for me, it's very advantageous if you are someone who does that. Kasi madalas kapag mahina tayo sa isang bagay, isipin na lang natin yan, hayaan mo na, mahina ako dyan eh. 'Di ba? Madalas, when you ask people, "Magaling ka ba sa math?" "Naku, mahina ako sa math." So, automatic. Pero yung super achievers, hindi sila gano'n. Yung mga super achievers, 'pag narinig nila na ganito, mahina ka sa ganito. So, they will work hard on it. They really will. They will do their best to surpass their own expectations, your expectations, people's expectations, which is pretty cool, I think. Kasi, na-maximize nila yung potentials nila. You never know what your potentials are until you try working them out, 'di ba? Another thing, sipag na sipag ako ngayon magsalita. Fairness. Okay. Next is persistence and audacity. Yes. Okay, persistence. Ano bang persistence sa Tagalog? Pagtitiyaga. Tama ba? Kasi pag persistent ka, parang tuloy-tuloy lang. Tuloy ang laban, no matter what. You will never back down from any challenge. You will just continuously work your way through. And audacity naman is boldness. Okay, kahit mahirap, sige lang kasi gagawan mo 'yan ng paraan kasi gusto mo talaga siyang mangyari. So persistence and audacity, these two characteristics are also two of the advantages of being a super achiever. They don't back out. They don't back down. Whenever there are challenges there right in front of them, if meron silang makitang wall, they will definitely build a ladder to cross it. They will drill it. Kahit anong gagawin nila para makatawid sila sa wall na yon. They're not the kind of people who will, you know, who will just surrender once they encounter any difficulty, which is pretty amazing. We should all be like that. Hindi yung pag nahirapan, umaalis agad, di ba? Or umaayaw agad. So that's another characteristic or another advantage of being a super achiever. Okay. And we have another one. Tadaan, mabagal yung internet. Ang tagal mag-load. Okay. Another advantage of being a super achiever, and also if you're working with a super achiever, or if you want to work with a super achiever, they have a very strong sense of responsibility. Kasi nga, they take action. They take action with whatever they want to do or whatever they want to achieve. So talagang alam nila sa sarili nila kung saan sila nagkakamali. Okay? They have a very strong sense of responsibility. An advantage of working, if you are working with a super achiever, hindi niya ano ba tawag doon? Yung hindi niya ide-deny kung ano yung nagawa niyang mali or kung ano yung nagawa niyang tama. Kasi alam niya yun sa sarili niya eh. Kasi dahil nga, 'di ba, mahilig or sanay siyang mag-achieve. Alam niya kung saan sa mga ginawa niyang procedure siya nagkamali. And they're really quick to admit once they're wrong. Kasi they already know what they know what they're doing by heart. So they're not the kind of people who will just say na magpapa-excuse sila, no, hindi ako yung gumawa niyan. Kasi alam naman na nila yung quality ng ginawa nila, 'di ba? Okay, and also, okay, this may be the last. Maybe the last advantage. Tama ba? Okay. So next is the obsession with winning. Some people will probably think that this is a downside of super achievers, but I would rather call this as an advantage or as something that's positive kasi they have this obsession with winning. But I will just say, siguro yung disclaimer ko dito is, but not too much. Yung talagang literal na obsession na na-risk na yung buhay niya para lang manalo. Not that kind of obsession. But obsession in a way, kaya nga meron tayong quotation marks for that. Yung talagang tuwang-tuwa sila sa pagkapanalo. So, or talagang they have this strong passion for winning or strong love for winning. This is an advantage of being a super achiever kasi alam mo, lalong-lalo na if we're working with super achievers, alam mo na things get done, right? And that's what we want, especially in the workplace. Gusto natin things get done, right? Excuse me. So gustong-gusto nating makipagtrabaho sa mga super achievers. And this is also something that we want to emulate. The obsession with winning. Okay? And we win in different ways, no? Pero yung super achiever, ang nakakatawa sa kanila kasi they will really do their best to win. Hindi lang basta-bastang win. Gusto nila kung merong first place, kung merong champion, dun sila sa champion. Ayaw nila ng mga second place na ganyan. Which is cool, I think. Ayun. So, again, those are the advantages of being a super achiever. Now, okay. So, ayan. So, ano naman yung okay, gusto ko rin tanong sa inyo, meron po ba dito sa audience na super achiever or you consider yourself as someone who's also obsessed with winning? You're not necessarily a super achiever, maybe, but you're also obsessed with winning. So please type your comments on the comment section so that I will also get to know you. And yun, baka pwede kang mag-guest at ikwentuhan mo naman kami ng pagiging isang super achiever. And again, it doesn't mean na pag super achiever ka, ikaw yung tao na maraming awards. Hindi naman ganoon. But most of the time, ganun yung nagiging notion na if you're a super achiever, you have these awards, you have these achievements, may mga kung ano-ano ka sa pangalan mo, something like that. But super achievers are also people who are just simply obsessed with winning, and whatever they touch, they win. They win in it. So parang ganon. So if you're one of those people, get in touch with me by posting your comments on the comment section so that we also get to know you. One of the things that I'm really happy about this channel is that there are literally people getting in touch with me through sending me a message um, or sending me an email, sending me an SMS. That's really nice. Thank you so much. So also there are people who are telling me about their achievements, na may mga maliliit silang na-achieve, may malalaki silang na-achieve. Nakaka-happy po yun. So thank you. There's always one person out there who's always rooting for you, and that's me. I'm really proud of you, even if you feel na hindi enough yung efforts mo. Let me tell you this. Okay, feeling mo lang yun. Kasi maraming tao na feeling nila kulang yung efforts nila, pero sa paningin ng ibang tao, for example, ako, sometimes I feel like I haven't done my best. Feeling ko kahit ginawa ko yung best ko, kulang pa rin. But people will tell me na Hindi, you actually did a good job. And if you need that person who you when you need someone to tell you that you did a good job, chat with me. Mag-send ka ng message sa inbox ko, okay? Don't feel as if walang taong susuporta sa iyo. Kung feeling mo yung mga tao sa paligid mo, they are not supportive of you, get in touch with me. Let's talk. Okay? You shouldn't ever feel that you are alone in this, in this journey. You shouldn't ever feel that you don't deserve what you want, because you do deserve what you want. Okay? So hope you learned something from this conversation, and I would like to give you some I would like to give you a parting message. Let me share my screen again. There you go. Okay. Sa hinaba-haba ng sinabi ko, ito lang yung final words ko for tonight. Being a super achiever is not a bad thing, but you also have to consider balance. Okay, kasi minsan when we are super achievers, we tend to forget a lot of things. Like we tend to forget our relationships, we tend to forget that we also need to have fun. And ang worst case scenario is we tend to forget about ourselves. Sometimes it's not really so much about our achievements. Sometimes the most important part of our lives, okay, I'm not saying that it's always the most important, but one of the most important parts na lang of our lives is at the end of the day, can you honestly tell yourself that you are happy with what you did or with what you're doing in your life? Kahit na hindi ka mag-achieve or kahit mag-achieve ka, ang tanong ko lang naman lagi diyan, masaya ka ba? Because again, we we don't have we don't have tomorrow, no? What we have is today. We cannot always rely on tomorrow to be happy. Bukas na lang ako sasaya kasi meron pa namang bukas. But what if we don't have tomorrow? We have to live day by day. Okay? So enjoy yourself today as well. Hindi naman puro achievement lang. Dapat bago ka matulog, tanungin mo yung sarili mo, masaya ka ba? Sumaya ka ba? Nakapagpasaya ka ba? Okay? Kasi for me, that's the best achievement we'll ever have. When we are happy and we're also able to make others happy. You don't necessarily have to have medals, trophies, awards all the time. At the end of the day, the only question is, are you happy or did you make other people happy? Yon, malaking achievement yon. Ang laking pogi points nun sa langit, di ba? Kapag ka masaya ka at kapag nakapagpasaya ka. Okay? And okay, I think that's my last slide. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this conversation tonight. Maraming salamat po, lalong-lalo na po sa mga teachers na nag-join po sa audience ngayon. Thank you po. Sobrang sumaya po ako. Thank you. We will be having teachers tomorrow. Ayan, we will be having teachers tomorrow because we are celebrating Pride Month, we will be having LGBTs tomorrow. Ayan, syempre we are supporting gender equality. And ako, I'm a very strong supporter of gender equality and women empowerment. That's why you're gonna have a lot of topics in here which is geared towards, towards promoting gender equality and women empowerment, because we all have to have equal rights, di ba? Lahat naman. So, ayan, again, if you have recommended topics, you can also send me a message. If you want to be a speaker on my show, you can definitely send me a message. Let's collaborate. Let's continue to inspire, cheer, and empower people. And kung feeling natin maliit na bagay lang yun, actually sa mga taong kailangan marinig yung mga sasabihin natin at that particular time, kahit isang tao lang yan, we have already made a difference. Ako naman, I'm just a very, I'm a simple person. I think very simply. Para sa akin, basta may maibigay ka in whatever way possible, like this one. Nakakapag-talk ka, nakakapag-inspire ka ng tao, or kahit na ano na pwede nating ma-share, no, in our lifetime. I think we've already made a difference, and for me, feeling ko achievement na 'yon. So, 'yun, gusto ko kapagka tinanong ako ni San Pedro, bago ako pumasok ng langit, "Ano yung ginagawa mo?" sasabihin ko, super achiever po ako kasi marami akong napasaya. Oh, I think that's a very good goal. I think. What do you think? And again, I hope you enjoyed tonight's topic. Join me for another conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. And if you have topics that you have in mind that we haven't talked about yet, please feel free to send me a message. And if you are also looking for something to watch, you can browse other videos that we've previously had or we've previously done. And yeah, share this video if you think this will be able to help someone tonight or today or in another day. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. And again, it's not bad to be a super achiever. Let's learn from them and let's become like them. And hopefully, we also become them, di ba? Bye, everyone. Thank you.